If you'd told me last month I'd be dressed as Santa Claus for a living, I probably would have laughed and asked what you were drinking. Now here I am, itchy suit, fake beard, on a throne that reeks of peppermint and questionable life choices. It all started with the Craigslist ad. Seasonal work, Santa's Grotto, $25 per hour. It seemed too good to be true, but desperation drowns out the little voice of reason. Winterland Manor, they called it. Fancy name for what I assumed would be a couple of folding chairs and a fake tree in a strip mall. I couldn't have been more wrong. When I showed up, it was unexpectedly fancy. Someone had clearly put time and money into the setup. A massive throne sat in the middle of an intricately decorated grotto framed by glittering gold trim and fake snow that somehow didn't melt. The lights were glaring, the music overbearingly cheerful. Christmas turned up to 11, but missing the heart. And then there was Rick. Rick called himself the manager, though grudging participant seemed more accurate. With sunken eyes, thinning hair, and a brittle smile, Rick looked like holiday cheer might actually kill him. "You're the new guy," he said, handing me a red velvet suit, a fake beard, and a laminated sheet of paper. "Read this carefully. Follow the rules. All of them." Sure," I said, taking the paper. The list wasn't long, but it definitely qualified as weird. The rules. Never tell the kids Santa isn't real. If the bells ring and no one else hears them, sing Jingle Bells until they stop. Never eat cookies left on the throne after 8 o'clock. If a child asks for something impossible, write it down, smile, and hand it to Rick. Do not respond. If you see another Santa anywhere in the building, leave immediately. I raised an eyebrow. "You serious?" Rick didn't even crack a smile. "Dead serious. The last guy broke the rules. And what happened to him? He's not here anymore." I opened my mouth to ask more, but Rick cut me off. "Shift starts in 5, he said, jerking a thumb toward the throne. The first day went smoothly. Kids lined up, rattled off their lists, and grabbed candy canes on the way out. Parents snapped enough pictures to clog social media for weeks. Nobody cried, nobody yanked my beard. Easy money. The throne, though, was strange. Oddly warm, like someone had just vacated it. I brushed it off until the faint smell of freshly baked cookies wafted past. There weren't any cookies around, but the scent lingered. Not exactly something to dwell on. Then I met Dylan. Dylan worked evenings as Santa, younger, louder, and brimming with a confidence I couldn't fake. His grin had that "I know something you don't" vibe, the kind that instantly raised suspicions. "Read the rules yet?" he asked during our shift change, sprawling onto the throne like it was his personal recliner. "Yeah," I said, grabbing my coat. "You?" "Yeah," he said, smirking. "What a load of crap. What, do they think Santa's going to haunt us or something?" I shrugged. "I'm not testing it." Dylan laughed. "Oh, come on. You're taking this way too seriously. It's just a job." "Exactly," I said. "And I'd like to keep it." The bells started on my second night. I'd just finished my shift and was scrolling through my phone when I heard it. It wasn't the decorations, wasn't the PA system. The sound was sharp and uncomfortably close. Rule 2 popped into my head. If you hear bells and no one else does, sing Jingle Bells until they stop. I hesitated, wondering if I was really about to sing carols alone in a deserted grotto. Then the sound got louder. "Jingle bells, jingle all the way." The sound didn't stop. It buzzed under my skin like static. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Eventually, the jingling faded into nothing. My hands were shaking as I stared at the throne, half expecting it to jump up and bite me. The next day, I told Dylan about it. "Dude, "It's probably Rick messing with you," he said, laughing. "He's got you singing to some hidden speaker system like a lunatic." "Maybe," I said. "But I'm not risking it." Dylan shook his head. "You're no fun, man. Where's your Christmas spirit?" That night, I saw Dylan blatantly breaking Rule 3. He was sprawled on the throne after hours, munching on a plate of cookies like he'd just raided Mrs. Claus's kitchen. "Are you really eating those?" I asked. "Why not?" he said, crumbs spilling down his suit. "They're delicious. You want one?" "No," I said flatly. "And you shouldn't either." "Oh, come on," he said, grinning. "What's the worst? Naughty list?" I didn't bother arguing and simply watched him stuff his face. The next morning, Dylan looked rough. He showed up late, dragging his feet like he'd lost a fight with his hangover. His face was pale, his eyes bloodshot, and he kept scratching at his arms like his skin didn't fit right. "Late night?" I asked, pulling on my suit. He gave a weak grin. "Yeah. Guess those cookies didn't sit right, probably just old or something." I didn't respond, but Rule 3 was already nagging at me. Never eat cookies left on the throne after 8 o'clock. Dylan leaned against the wall and groaned. "Man, my stomach's been killing me. I swear I heard something in my apartment last night, too, like scratching." "Scratching?" I asked, keeping my tone casual. "Yeah, probably rats or something. Place is a dump." He tried to wave it off, but he wasn't his usual self. His laughs were fewer, his cocky grin noticeably absent. "You sure it's not guilt from pissing off Santa's ghost?" I asked with a smirk. He rolled his eyes. "Oh, come on. You're still on about the rules? Rick's got you drinking the Kool-Aid, man." "Maybe," I said, shrugging. "But I didn't eat the cookies." He flipped me off and dragged himself to the throne. That night was eerily quiet. No bells, no unsettling kids asking for impossible things, just a slow stream of families taking photos and grabbing candy canes. I almost started to believe Dylan was right. Maybe all these rules were just Rick's way of adding some holiday mystique to the job. And then the kid showed up. He was small, maybe 4 or 5, with dark curls and enormous glassy eyes that looked right through me. He climbed into my lap silently, clutching a crumpled piece of paper in his tiny hands. "You gonna tell me what you want for Christmas?" I asked in my best Santa voice. He didn't answer. Instead, he handed me the paper and whispered, "Please." I unfolded it. The handwriting was neat, too neat for a kid his age. "Bring back Mommy. Daddy says it's too late, but you can do it." My stomach sank. Rule 4 flashed in my head. If a child asks for something impossible, write it down, smile, and hand it to Rick. Do not respond. "Sure thing, buddy," I said, scribbling the request into my notepad. "I'll make sure it gets to Santa." The boy slid off my lap without a word. No thank you, no wave, just that hollow stare as he disappeared into the crowd. At the end of my shift, I handed the note to Rick. His face went pale. "You followed the rule?" he asked. "Yeah," I said, frowning. "Why? What's the deal with these kids?" Rick didn't answer. He folded the note and stuffed it into his coat pocket. "Good. You're doing fine." "Fine? Rick, I'm handing you notes from kids asking for dead parents to come back. I'm singing carols to invisible bells. What the hell is this job?" Rick looked at me, and for a second I thought he might finally explain something. Instead, he just said, "Follow the rules. Don't ask questions." The next day, Dylan didn't show up. His locker stood open, his Santa hat crumpled on the floor, and the scent of peppermint hung thick in the air, stronger than usual. "What happened to Dylan?" I asked Rick. Rick didn't even look up from his clipboard. "He didn't follow the rules." I waited for him to elaborate. He didn't. That's it? No, he quit. No, he's sick? Rick sighed and finally met my eyes. You're better off not knowing. I didn't push it. I'd seen enough to know when to stop asking. But as I passed the throne that day, it felt colder than usual. That night, the bells came back. I was alone in the grotto, locking up when I heard it. At first it was soft, barely audible over the hum of the Christmas lights. Then it got louder, sharper, like it was coming from right behind me. I didn't hesitate. I sang. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. The air grew heavy, pressing down on me like it wanted to crush the song out of my lungs. My voice cracked, but I forced the words out. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. The bells stopped. Oh, just like that, the weight lifted. I stood there, catching my breath, and muttered, "This job sucks." As I turned to leave, something flickered near the throne. A shadow, tall, hunched, with what looked like a wide-brimmed hat casting an even darker shadow over its face. I froze. Rule 5 screamed in my head. If you see another Santa anywhere in the building, leave immediately. I didn't wait. I grabbed my coat and bolted, not looking back. The next day, Rick was waiting for me in the grotto. He didn't look surprised to see me. He never did. It was like he already knew how everything was going to play out. You followed the rule? Rick asked, not bothering with a greeting. Yeah, I said. Sang my heart out and got the hell out when I saw whatever that was. Rick nodded, as if I'd just told him I had done my job. Good. That's all? Just good? I stepped closer, lowering my voice. Rick, what the hell is going on here? I saw something in there, near the throne. It wasn't normal. Rick stared at me for a moment, like he was weighing how much to reveal. Finally, he spoke. It's not your job to know. Just follow the rules. I've been following the rules, I snapped. But Dylan, he didn't follow the rules, Rick interrupted. That's why he's gone. You're still here. Keep it that way. I wanted to argue, but the way he said it stopped me. I just knew that arguing wouldn't end well. The grotto was quieter than ever that night. Hardly any kids. Just a few stragglers hunting for candy canes and photos. Dylan kept running through my mind. He hadn't just quit. I knew that. And the throne, the cold, the shadow, whatever was tied to it, it felt alive. I was lost in thought when a kid suddenly ran up to me, clutching something in his hands. I forced a smile as he climbed onto my lap, my brain already running through Rule 4. If a child asks for something impossible, write it down, smile, and hand it to Rick. Do not respond. Hey there, buddy, I said, trying to sound cheerful. What can Santa do for you? The kid didn't say a word. He just handed me a small folded note, his hands trembling. I unfolded the note and froze. The handwriting was familiar, neat, blocky letters just like Dylan's. I didn't mean to break the rules. Help me. He's here. It wasn't from the kid. It was from Dylan. I looked down at the boy, but his expression was blank, his eyes glassy. Where did you get this? I whispered. He didn't respond, just slipped off my lap and wandered off, vanishing into the crowd. I didn't give the note to Rick. I should have, I know that now. But something about it fell off. It wasn't a kid's Christmas wish. It felt like a warning or a cry for help. Either way, I didn't trust Rick to do the right thing with it. That decision came with a cost. The bells started before my shift even ended. I didn't waste time. I began singing. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. The lights flickered, stuttering in the cold air. The air thickened, heavy and suffocating, as if I were breathing through a wet cloth. Oh, what fun it is to ride. The bells didn't stop. They grew louder, faster, like they were circling me. In a one-horse open sleigh. The throne creaked from behind me. Rule 2. If the throne creaks, leave immediately and do not return. I turned just enough to glimpse the figure sitting there. It was the same shadow from before, but now I could make out more of its form. The red suit looked wet, slick with something dark that shimmered in the flickering lights. Its face was hidden beneath the brim of a wide hat, but I could feel its eyes on me, pulling me closer. "You've done well," it said, its voice low and sharp, like a blade scraping across ice. "But you've broken a rule." My heart stopped. "What rule?" I managed to choke out. It leaned forward, gloved hands tightening on the armrests. "The note. You didn't give it to Rick." I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. "You were warned," it said, rising from the throne. I backed away, my legs trembling. But it didn't follow. It just stood there, towering over the throne, watching me. "Sing," it hissed. I didn't wait. I sang until my throat burned, until the bells faded and the lights stopped flickering. When I finally stopped, the throne was empty. Rick wasn't there when I left the grotto. His car was gone. The lights in his office off. I don't know if he left or if something took him. I didn't ask. The next morning, Winterland Manor was closed. No warning, no explanation. Just a sign on the door that said, "Closed for the season." I haven't heard the bells since, but every now and then I catch a whiff of peppermint in the air, faint and fleeting. When I do, I hum the first few lines of Jingle Bells under my breath, just in case.